On Saturday, breezy and cooler, not much of a rebound in temps, mostly cloudy in the morning with a couple of showers, then the clouds yield to sun in the afternoon, the high of 56. A nice warming trend kicking off Sunday, sunny skies, a nice end of the weekend with the high 63. Warmer Monday, variably cloudy, the high 74. A thunderstorm in spots Tuesday morning, a high of 78. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Live from the studios of News Talk 1480 WHBC, it's Kenny and JT.
And welcome back to the Kenny and JT show. We love Fridays because it means it's time we get a chance to talk to another Pro Football Hall of Famer. And joining us in studio from the Hall of Fame class of 2020, one of the hardest hitters to put on a pair of shoulder pads and a helmet and lay the wood to you from the Denver Broncos. Steve Atwater joining us. What's up, Steve?
All right. What's up? When you say that, my shoulder starts aching just a little bit.
Yeah, that's how they felt after the game. You're feeling it all these years later.
Yeah, I'm feeling it now.
It's the weather. Every time you're where it's raining, like in Ohio, every day of the year.
Oh, man.
You're going to feel that.
Yes.
Welcome home, brother.
Too. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
You're
it.
home away from home, Canton, Ohio. You go in 2020, so it's almost 5 years. Can you believe you've been in now for almost 5 years?
Yeah, it's been a minute. And actually, it's been 4 years because we went in 2021.
Oh, that's right. You were part of the
COVID.
20.
Yeah,
COVID.
Yes. So we doubled up in 2021. So, yeah.
What did it mean to you when you finally got the knock or the call? I'm not sure which one it was for you.
Yeah, well, we got the knock.
Okay.
I think we were one of the last ones to get the knock. And, man, it just really just meant the world to me to put kind of the icing on top of a career that, you know, I didn't know that I was going to have. You know, you go when you're playing football, at least when I was playing football, I wasn't thinking about the accolades. I wasn't thinking about, hey, I'll be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I was just going out there initially as a kid to go out there to have fun, you know, and then as each level it got a little bit more serious in high school and in college, and then, you're in the NFL. And, you know, just leaving it out there on the line, and it wound up being a worthy of a Hall of Fame. So I'm extremely proud of that. But I know that you know, it wasn't just me, man. It was also a lot of great coaching, a lot of help from my teammates and that. And so yeah, I tell my guys that this gold jacket is not the Steve Atwater gold jacket. This is for all my teammates and coaches and family, friends, all that good stuff.
But it fits you so well.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
I'm telling you what. Take us through the beginnings. You know, football and then at Arkansas before you're drafted by the Denver Broncos. What got you interested?
Well, I'll tell you what. My dad, he came on one day and he's like, "Come on, let's get in the car." And I jumped in the car with him. Well, he took me out to the park, and there are a bunch of little league youngsters out on the field. They're all practicing. You know, all the different teams were spread out across the field. You know, saw a couple of teams running laps, jogging, saying these little chants. You know, I still remember a little chant.
Right.
What's your name? Raw Nice what? Raw Nice Tough? Yeah, Tough. Yeah, who the best? We are. Who? We are. And what do we do? We crucify. And what do we do? We crucify. Yes. So that was our little chant back then. And so we were watching for maybe a half hour or so, and he said, "You want to join?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in." And that was it. That was it. He just took me out there, let me watch, and he asked if I wanted to sign up, and hey, got me signed up, and that was the beginning of you know, my passion, man. I loved it. I love football.
That passion. Kenny mentioned the fact you're a fierce hitter. We all remember it.
Yep.
But I was also reading that you start off as a quarterback. How does that work out?
Okay, so my quarterback career had a vital. It was a vital reason why I became a safety. The reason is, what's the main goal of quarterback? Win, obviously win, but what you want to do with stats?
Well, maybe get the girl. You can.
He's talking about on the field. On the
I'm talking
field.
about the quarterback now.
See where his mind was. What
Are
was
we
the
talking
third thing?
quarterback? Steve Atwater.
That's why you're a Hall of Famer.
We talking quarterback.
Okay, all right.
Throw a touchdown pass.
Throw a touchdown pass. Yeah, there we go.
right.
Get your guys
And
over.
get the girl after the game.
Football. I got you.
Yeah. So the main goal is throw touchdowns. Well, guess what? I threw interceptions.
Oh.
But I got upset when there's somebody intercepted my pass, and I went down and made the tackle. And when I tackled him, it was a little bit of force.
Yeah.
And the coaches, I think my Arkansas coaches said, man, this guy cannot throw, but, man, he can hit him once he tackles. Once he throws an interception, man, he can go down there and get him. So that was a big part of that. And like my coach at Arkansas, you know, and I was telling coaches at the time, like, yeah, I want to play quarterback, want an opportunity to play quarterback. And they're like, yeah, okay, we got you. But my coach at Arkansas, he was smart because a couple of schools said, no, you're not going to play quarterback here. And I was like, okay, well, hey, it's all right. I'm not coming. And coach at Arkansas, like, yeah, we're playing quarterback. The third day of practice, he calls me in his office. Hey, Steve, you know, if you play quarterback, you're welcome to do it. You can stay and play quarterback, but you're going to have to wait behind, you know, 2 or 3 guys and, you know, maybe a long road for you. But I'd like to try you at safety position. If you switch over to safety, then I want you to travel. I still want to redshirt you, but I want you to travel with the team. I want you to get the speed of the game and, you know, be in the locker room, get the feel of everything. And I was like, hey, man, that sounds a lot more fun than quarterback. Yeah. You know, I may not ever get to see the field at quarterback. So I made the decision, hey, we're going to switch over to safety, and, hey, the rest is history.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, that's a great story based on what happened yesterday in the draft. Here's why. And the wheels are turning. So he gets you there, gives you that, dangles that carrot to you, right? Like you have a chance of playing quarterback,
Yes.
but he really wanted you as a safety.
And he knew better. He knew better.
Travis Hunter says, hey, I'm not coming to your team if you draft me unless you let me play both. So these teams that said, oh, we'll let you play both, do you think they will let Travis Hunter play both? Or did they just say that so when they drafted him, he'll think everything's good and then they'll force him to play one or the other?
Yeah, I think that he's such a unique talent. I think that he'll be allowed to play both in some capacity. Now, obviously, he won't be able to do like he did in college where he's playing, 100 and some snaps, because I think the physicality is just at a different level in the NFL. You know, you can have guys, hey, I know that you can't hit with your helmets, but guys, they're going to be going for him,
Yep.
You know it. And he's going to be going for other people, too. He's a playmaker. He's a competitor. But I just don't think he'll be able to play the number of snaps that he played in college. But they're definitely going to take advantage of his skills at both positions, I think.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. We talk about this draft, Kenny, and I look back 1989, the NFL draft, and the Hall of Famers that came out of that draft. This might be one of the best classes
Yeah,
ever.
some playmakers, boy.
Barry Sanders, Troy Aikman, Derek Thomas, Deion Sanders, Steve Atwater.
Yeah.
But you know what comes to mind for me? You get drafted number 20 overall, and it's in a trade, just like last night. The Browns make a trade, so the Browns end up with Eric Metcalf.
Right.
You end up going to Denver. Like we say, the rest is history. But I want to ask you about John Elway. Because as a guy playing safety, and everybody always said, he's a baseball player. He throws harder than anyone. What was it like getting in front of a John Elway, I'd say pass, but in your case, interception?
Better have some gloves on.
Right?
But have some gloves on, because this is coming. And, he's got a nice deep pass, touch on it with the deep pass. But, man, in those intermediate routes you run in there, boy, it's coming. He's got some fire on it.
Yeah.
That's real. I in practice, I witnessed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Break any digits?
No, I didn't break any fingers. But, man, I was – you got to have them hands. Oh,
okay.
boy. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I got a couple picks off from John in practice.
Did you?
We play games. Yeah, every now and then,
Okay. So how much better did he make you having to go against him in practice?
100%, because we're playing games, one-on-one. I'm trying to bait him into throwing something, do something that he doesn't want to do, and he's looking at me, and he'll give me that little smile, like, I know what you're doing. And, we had that little fun competition in practicing that.
Iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah,
that's the mentality. You have to have that. The competition, it's got to be there. If you want the ultimate, and that's to win a Super Bowl, which you know all about, right? It's got to be there, because if there isn't that competition, you're not going to go very far.
Yeah, 100%. You got to give it your all in practice, and we learned to practice full speed, but we didn't have pads on, and because we were a physical ball club, a veteran ball club, Mike Shanahan, he let us go. Like, all right, we're not going to beat each other up in practice, but we are going to give 100% effort. Okay. And and we learned to practice with in taking care of our teammates. You know, if our receiver went up to catch a pass and you could knock it down, but you're also going to have contact with the receiver. Oh, no, that's not happening.
Okay.
He's going to get on you for doing that. You know, we don't do that. We don't get close to our starting receiver. We're going to risk him in practice when we know you could have made the play. So just let him catch it, you know, and know that you will make the play in the game. So that was one of the beautiful things I loved about our team. We respected each other in that regard. You know, we weren't trying to prove a point. Like, we know that we would have made the play. We don't need to hurting your guy.
Right.
I see guys doing that in practice. Bro, that's your teammate. What are you doing?
This ain't the 70s Steelers. They wanted to decapitate everybody on both sides.
Even their teammates?
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
Donnie Shell did it all the time. They said in practice.
Lynn Swan, who made who better.
That was a whole different. That was a whole different. Yeah, that was a whole
It's a different time.
Yeah.
And this was a different time, too. Take us through, because we're in day 2 of the NFL draft right now, Steve Atwater. What is that first day in the draft like? When we're going back to 1989, no cell phones, no internet. What is it like? Where were you?
Yes, I was with my then girlfriend, now wife of 34 years. We were at her apartment in Little Rock, Arkansas. You know, University of Arkansas is in Fayetteville. It's probably about 3.5 hour drive from Little Rock. And we were there. We had invited our parents there and, you know, some friends and aunts, uncles and that. And, you know, I didn't know I was going in the first round either, you know. You know how it is. Like, some guys, they're like, oh, yeah, I know I'm going in the first. I wasn't like that. I'm like, y'all come on down, but I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I might get drafted on day 1. I'm hoping I get drafted at somewhere, you know, I think it was 6 rounds back then on first day.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I ended up being the 20th pick of the draft. And, you know, once I was picked, I started thinking like, okay, now I remember the scouts coming out and working me out and them high-fiving me and, you know, us having a good conversation. And it all came to this, you know.
Now, wait a minute. So you're drafted, and in your rookie year, you go to the Super Bowl.
We go to Super Bowl, yes.
Okay, so I'm lucky enough to end up with a Super Bowl ticket that year.
No
And we
way.
go to the Superdome in New Orleans, and they
Get
give us
outta
this
here.
book. Now, I want to show you something
Yeah,
because I don't
check
know if you've
this
ever
out.
seen this. So, you know, now you go to a Super Bowl, they probably give you more than a seat cushion. It was what we got the first time I went to a game. They gave us this book, and I'm looking through it, and I'm like, okay. First of all, you ripped our hearts out to get to the Super Bowl because you played at Denver, and we're Browns and Steelers fans. I'm kidding. But in the first page, it's the trading cards of all the players that played. So you
gotta
open
be
it up,
kidding
and the
me.
very first person there is John Elway.
Wow.
But the next page, you come over, and it's Steve Atwater, but you're a rookie, and
You
it's
got
got
my
your
Razorback
card is in the Arkansas uniform. You didn't have a Denver uniform yet in your
That's
card.
crazy. I remember this card, though.
Do you?
Yes. I got a ton of these cards. And people send them to me to get autographed and that. So, yeah, this.
Well, how come you didn't have a Denver card in this book?
I have no idea.
I think
I do
'cause-
have some from my rookie year where I am. It may be the card company. You just never know.
That because there was a contract, right? And maybe the NFL had one contract with one card, not the other, something like that, right?
I have no idea. This was back in Arkansas. Yeah. It was,
That's a nice picture, though.
yeah. Giving out calls and that, and yeah, a little ripped up. Got my belly showing there. I wouldn't do that nowadays.
Oh, that's great.
It is awesome.
Oh, Steve Atwater is our guest today here on the Kenny and JT Show. Hall of Famer 2020, 8-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, 1990s All-Decade Team, 2-time Super Bowl winner, 24 career interceptions, almost 1,200 tackles, and 1990, check these stats out, 173 tackles in 1990, your second year.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that season where you hit everything that moved and that recorded a tackle every time you did it?
Well, I remember going into games, I was like, I want to have 10 tackles at halftime. I want to have 20 at the end of the game. That's what was going through my mind. And so if a guy is, you know, somebody else makes a tackle and the guy is not all the way down, oh, yeah, I'm coming in.
You're getting some of that.
I'm getting some of that. Give me a little bit. Give me a taste of it. Give me an assist or something, you know.
Right.
And I don't know. That was just my mentality. Even in college, you know, we wanted to make as many tackles as possible. I don't know if that had an impact on my hands because I had 24 interceptions. I probably should have had 40 because I dropped so many of them over the course. I probably dropped 7 or 8 of them just in the Pro Bowl alone. I mean, I think I dropped 2 in one game. Like, man. Yeah, it's just it was a fun time though. Fun time.
That's the Orange Crush, right?
Yeah, we weren't on
Crush.
Crush.
No,
Orange
that was
Crush.
the 70s.
Yeah, 70s. We can't. They don't want to mix us up with them because these guys they were some
Randy
playmakers
Gradishar
there.
wasn't like that,
G.
right?
So
he was the real man. He was the man.
what then comes to mind on these teams?
Man, we worked hard. We worked hard. Dan Reeves was our head coach. We had some playmakers, Carl Mecklenburg, Vance
looked through
Johnson.
this in so long.
Yeah, we had the Three Amigos back then.
That's right.
Yeah, those were the guys who gave the Browns fits. Yeah. But that was a little before my time. I don't know if in '89. I think we played you guys.
Yeah.
But it wasn't one of the big ones. The drive.
It was like
and all
30-20 or something.
It was in Denver, right?
It wasn't a fumble. It wasn't the drive.
Yeah. So it wasn't close.
It's all, this thing hasn't seen the light of day 25 years.
You brought it out?
Yeah.
I want to show it to you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, good memories though, right?
Reeves.
Looking at those.
Hey, now, wait a minute. So they wouldn't even give you one of these.
I didn't even know this existed.
It's amazing.
This is awesome.
It's very cool. It's a cool piece of memorabilia, you know.
The back part has the 49ers. You probably want to skip through that part. You didn't win that game.
They put it on us. They put it on us, and that was my welcome to the NFL game.
Well, it's Steve Young. Who else is in this team?
Well, Jerry, right?
Jerry.
Yep.
John Taylor's got to be on that team. Tell me about JT,
Tina
right?
Turner,
players, man.
Bubba Paris.
Yeah. Everybody worried
Steve
about Jerry, and John Taylor he could be a number one on almost everybody else's team, right?
Oh, man. It was crazy because it was like
Charles Haley.
Charles Haley. I remember at halftime just sitting in the locker room just pondering like, do these guys have our playbook? Because we can't stop anything they're doing defensively. As a defense, we couldn't stop them offensively. And then offensively, we couldn't get anything going against them defensively, against their defense.
Right.
You know, it's like is somebody leaking information to these guys. And it was like, man, these guys, they're on a whole different level. And so I knew at that point, man, unless something changes at the beginning of the half, it's going to be a long game, boy. It ended up being the highest scoring, highest point differential in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, what was the deal back then? It seemed like a lot of those Super Bowls, there were always blowouts, and then all of a sudden, the Broncos were able to turn the tide, and you won a couple of Super Bowls. What was it up until that point? Was it the time off? I mean, they were good enough to get there. Why were they so lopsided early on?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Because I think we had the players, but you just sometimes it just isn't your day, and we had too many of those, and but we were fortunate. But I think one of the biggest reasons why we were able to win was TD, number 30. You got that running game going with Elway. Come on, man. That offense is rolling. Defense, we're rolling pretty good.
He played a game with like a migraine or something?
Sure, yeah. And the crazy thing I always, am astonished at is that Mike Shanahan, our trainer, Steve Antonopoulos, we call him Greek, he says to Mike Shanahan, hey, Terrell Davis, he's going to be out a couple plays. He can't see. Mike Shanahan says, he needs to be in there. He don't have to see this play. and TD said, and he told the TD, and TD like, okay. And he didn't blink and ran back in the game. Now, what kind of commitment is that?
That's
because nowadays, hey, you get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then players wouldn't, I don't even know if a player would go back in the game after saying, I can't see. Like, you don't need to see on this play. Get back in there. Would you go back in the game? Like, especially nowadays, they wouldn't do it.
I call off work. I deal with migraines. I don't come in here. I stay home and go to sleep. This guy's going back in a play.
Yes.
Amazing.
And the play worked to perfection. We scored a touchdown, and TD didn't get hit, and it worked out just like Mike said. But we had that confidence in Mike that because he's proven to us time and time again that what he says, it comes to pass. And, man, we had no hesitation in doing what he said.
That's amazing.
None.
Steve Atwater, Hall of Famer, in studio with us, part of the Hall of Fame residency program, and we'll get to what you've been up to in Canton here in a minute or so. But I wrote down what's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye?
Oh, man. Headaches, Advil, Aleve.
Can you imagine?
No.
Yeah.
What? Tell us. What? I mean, you laid him out, so you gave him a headache too, but I'm sure he gave you a few as well.
Man,
What was it like trying to tackle the Nigerian Nightmare?
It was very difficult. And, he's – and at that time, it seems like every AFC West team had a bruising running back. Marion Butts from the Chargers, and Rod Bernstein. He was playing a little bit of running back as well. The Seattle Seahawks had what's the big running back? Warren.
Chris Warren.
Chris Warren.
Yep.
Yes. And then the Chiefs with Barry Word and Christian Okoye.
Right.
And these guys are running downhill. And, man, I'm telling you, for the games, we used to take Advil and leave, man. We was like, hey, before the game and after the game, because we knew we got to stick our heads in there. We got to get dirty. I mean, not lower. So any football players out there listening, don't lower your head. Just you got to put your head in there with the head up. Don't
See what you're tackling,
see what
right?
you're tackling. Yes.
So the time you did lay him out, though, I've seen a photo of you kind of standing over him a little bit, letting him know that you got him that time.
Yeah, you know how you get in the zone sometimes. I was in the zone, and I normally don't talk any noise, but I was mic'd up, and I was feeling it a little bit. But also, like, I'm real sensitive to the other side of that with Christian Okoye, right? Because he's a man, and I can imagine what he has to deal with when people telling him, hey, man, I remember you. Oh, you're the guy that Steve Atwater hit. I don't know if people come to them and say that. But he's a big guy.
I think they do. Yes.
I wouldn't do that because he's still kind of ripped up there. I saw him in Hawaii a few months ago, and, he's out there with Steve DeBerg and a couple other friends. Yeah, man, he's looking good, man. We got a picture together. Great guy.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate that I was able to get him on that one because if it had gone the other way, believe me, I know everybody would be telling me, Steve, what about the guy?
Yeah.
I remember that hit about the Okoye where he just trucks you, man. And so, hey, I'm glad that it turned out the way that it did.
That's outstanding. All right, so you're in town for the Hall of Fame residency program. When'd you get in? What have you been doing since you've been a part of this week in Canton?
Okay, so we got in on Wednesday afternoon, evening, relaxed on that day, and then we got up the next morning, Thursday, yesterday. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. We hit up one of the Catholic schools, and let me get the name of it. I don't want to butcher the name of it. And we had a great visit over there. It was
St. Thomas Aquinas?
no, it wasn't St. Thomas
Central
Aquinas.
Catholic?
No, hang on 1 second. I got you. It was Our Lady of Peace.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
In front of Central.
Oh, yeah.
We had a fifth grade classroom,
nice.
fourth or fifth grade classroom, man, and the kids, they were so lively, they were so real. That got us ready for everything else because these young babies, they were so sweet. They're like, we were asked the question, they're like, can you sign my autograph? I'm like, okay, I'll sign it. What are you gonna do with it? We'll put it on eBay and sell it.
At least they were honest,
They
right?
were honest, right? Yeah, brutally honest, man. And we had such a good time over there. It was really such a blessing. And yeah, the principal and teachers, man, over there, they're doing a beautiful job. And they got it started off. Then we had several other activities that we did. We also did a 2-minute drill with Jameer Howerton. He's with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We did a Hall of Famer at the Hall, kind of mix and mingle in the lobby with the guests. Then we went on to, I don't want to say that because you're one of your competitors, the Fan.
Oh, it's all right.
Okay, we went on the Fan show and did an interview there. And, yeah, we've been doing just about everything here in the community. And really, my wife and I, we look at it as a way of, saying thank you to the community here for all the support that they provide to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And, just giving back. My wife and I, we do that in Colorado as well. And it feels good to, to give back to, and then especially when people really appreciate it. You know that
We
they
do.
Yeah, we do.
That's the reason we love having this residency program, because we really get to know a lot of you guys. And how many Leroy Butler was the first one over a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, ever since then, it's been like a constant stream, and it's like, okay, who's next? And next one's better than the last one. And it's unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
But, you know, I want to go back into your playing day, because the one question that comes to mind for me is, I remember when you came out, we're about the same age. I'm a couple of years older than you. I remember Steve Atwater, and I'm thinking to myself, this dude's like Kenny Easley. Was there another player that was playing maybe a little bit before you or at that time that you're like, I'm going to be like that guy. I'm going to be better, though?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, first off, when I was in college, my defensive backs coach, Bobby Trott, still my good friend to this day, he brought me a book, The Assassin.
Oh,
Jack Tatum. Okay, so
Buckeye, by the way, in case you're
there
wondering.
we go. Exactly. I know. And so I read that book, and then I wasn't really a Raiders fan. I was a Steelers fan coming up, and so I didn't really see a lot of their games. But I read the book and took that to heat when I was in college. But then 42 for the daggone San Francisco 49ers, Ronnie Lott. Man, when I watched that guy play, I'd be like, "Oh man!" He's making his word. My body was again. I'm like, man, I want to do that. I want to make me get up out of my seat when I'm watching a game, and I want other people when they're watching the game. I want them to say, "Oh, what was that?" Yeah. And I would come home after the games and see, did I just fly into the screen at the last minute, and people were like, "Oh, wait, what was that?" And so Ronnie Lott was my guy, and it's crazy because before I got drafted, or right after I got drafted, it was sometime in between, sometime in there in the 1989 year, I was at an NBA All-Star game. My then girlfriend, wife now, and we're walking along the sidelines of the bench, rather, right where the bench and stuff is, and we look up and I see Ronnie Lott.
Come on.
And I'm like, "Babe, that's Ronnie Lott." He said, "Go up there and say hello to him." I'm like, what if he's mean? What if he doesn't? I don't know. She's like, get on up there and say hi to him. I'm like, okay, all right. So I go up the steps. I sit down and I say, "Hello, Mr. Lott. My name is Steve Atwater." And he talks to me for 15 minutes, man.
Really?
The nicest guy in the world. And I'll call him from time to time now and, let him know how much I appreciate him. And so, yeah, Ronnie Lott, man, was my guy that and now, once I got to playing with the Broncos, my teammate Dennis Smith, I didn't know that he and Ronnie Lott were at USC together. I didn't know that Dennis Smith, he was the man as well. Dennis Smith, he taught me what I knew, and I got a chance to see that Ronnie Lott type play through Dennis Smith on the field every day. I'm on the field. We're playing against the Colts one day. I'm running over to make a tackle, and I'm thinking I'm going full speed, and Dennis Smith comes flying by me, pow! And I'm like, only thing I'm thinking is, oh crap, I got to pick it up. I'm not going hard enough. And so that was inspiring, I got to pick it up. I got to get better.
Yeah. So now you're teammates with Ronnie Lott in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
When you see each other, does he remember that first time?
No, I told him about it several times.
Yeah.
I don't know if he remembers it,
Hey, kid.
Yeah. I don't remember. Yeah. But he always says he does, but I don't know if he really does,
That's awesome.
But
That's
he
awesome.
was a true gentleman, man, and that really warmed my heart,
Happy to have Steve Atwater with us in studio, Hall of Fame residency program here in Canton. We're closing in on 30, I think, JT. Different Hall of Famers we've had. Wow. Pretty close to that.
Nice.
And so and we get so many great stories from all the Hall of Famers that come in here, like that one right there. And we're telling you, Mike Singletary, we had him not too long ago, right?
Yes,
and that stare.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it on TV. I saw it in NFL film.
But
I
see it
saw
live.
it up close.
He scared me.
Oh, man.
I was scared.
Right?
I was scared.
Yeah. Oh, man, but the way you just reacted, though, too, man, and that's that passion, right? Yeah. You have to have the passion.
Oh, 100%.
No matter what you do, but especially in football, to really succeed, don't you?
Oh, I believe that in any field. I think people can become their own Hall of Famer in whatever field that they're in if they give it their all and commit to. You got to commit to one thing, though. You can't do a million different things and be great at it. You got to find your passion, man, and do it. Your
passion is the Denver Broncos. You're still out there.
Yeah, I'm still there. I moved away for a while, but came back in 2017, and they I was lucky to get hired by them, and I've been on the staff ever since, and been having a great time, and even throughout the transition to the new ownership, man, I feel like I have a great relationship with the owners. They're amazing. I don't think the Broncos could be in a better position with the ownership group. The situation couldn't be any better than it is.
And I believe in this, too. In order to build the culture or keep it going, you have to connect with the past.
Yeah.
And when they see Steve Atwater, all those fans I damn well know in the Mile High Stadium or whatever they're saying, they see a Steve Atwater, they connect with the past. I mean, those are glory days, too.
Yeah, but the cool thing is, though, it's not just me, right? It's like our entire alumni association, they fully embrace. They bring them back to games, bring them back once a year, and celebrate guys. We celebrated the '77 team last year, and man, you know what that does, man? There's some guys who hadn't come back to Colorado in 20 or 30 years, and they're coming back now, man, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Well, the fans love it, and those guys love it too.
They love it too.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, as we get older, I think we appreciate things more than when they were actually happening.
100%.
Right? And a chance, like when you saw your card, your face lit up, right? He brings this in, right? So those guys coming back for the first time in how many years, and to hear the crowd chanting their name and everything and remembering what y'all did back then, it's got to be something special.
One of my buddies, Keith Traylor, he played with us on the Super Bowl teams. He had success with the Buffalo Bills, too. He came back for the first time last year, and I hadn't seen Keith Traylor in years. I'm like, man, where have you been?
Right.
And it was so good, man. So hats off to the Walton Penner ownership group, man. They're doing an amazing job.
How does that relate to the reception you get? Now this is your home. You can go back to Denver. You can live there as long as you want, but you're going to be a Cantonian for the rest of your life.
Yes.
How does that feel when you come here?
It feels really good, especially like if I had a gold jacket on, everybody knows they get double text. They went, whoa. You okay? Like, okay, oh yeah. So it's a super warm reception. But even without the gold jacket on, people are super nice here. It's a great place to be, and we are so happy. Every time we come back, we have a wonderful time.
We love having you.
Yeah, and this is really special because when you come back, Hall of Fame weekend, don't get me wrong, we appreciate it, but there's a short time, to be here, and your time is already chopped up. You're back for 3 or 4 days. You're getting out in the community, getting to see what it's like. They're getting to see you as more than just a gold jacket, a human being, what you're 100%. Like on an everyday basis.
100%. And that's, matter of fact, when you say about the human being part, that's what I say about the great coaches. They make the players feel like, hey, I care about more than you as a football player. I care about you as a human being. I care about your family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They show that, hey, it's just not about football because life is bigger than football, But, hey, for us, football is a huge part of it, but it's just not everything.
Yeah, great stuff, Steve. We'll let you go. We could talk for another hour, man. This is so much fun. You're welcome back here on the Kenny and JT Show. Anytime you're in Canton, come
Appreciate
on in.
Yes,
we can get some more stories out of you, get you out of your chair again, get you all fired up and everything.
Take him to the gym.
Whatever. There you go, all that. But thanks so much for doing this residency program, here in Stark County in Canton. We love it. I know the community loves it as well. And to you and your wife, thanks so much for that.
Oh, thank you all so much for having us on.
Right.
God bless you guys.
God bless you. There he is, Steve Atwater, one of the hardest hitters ever. To put him on a football field. Love those stories from him. We'll get a break in right now. We'll come back with more right after this.
The Loadman and JT on 1480 WHBC.
WHBC AM 10.